Hello. Today on the show, we're going to talk about something that is more addictive than cocaine, is more destructive to your liver than alcohol, and has a laundry list of bad bodily effects, but carries absolutely no social stigma to it whatsoever. What are we going to talk about? Sugar. Why are we talking about it? Because this is Caging the Little White Monster. My name is Kurt, and I am a recovering sugar addict. So, sugar. There's a lot of confusion around it, and there's some really good reasons for that. Because sugar is just a generic term for a water-soluble carbohydrate that tastes sweet. There are a lot of them. Some of them not so bad for us. Other ones, like this one here, yeah, we've known, well, I shouldn't say we, scientists have known since 1959 that this is no good for us. And we're finding more and more evidence to back that assertion up every year. So let's go and talk about what this is, where it comes from, and a little bit about what it does in our body. We're going to be doing more of that sort of thing as the show goes on. But let's find out who the enemy is, shall we? Now, as I said, we've got different kinds of sugar. So when you tell your friends or family, you know, those oh so helpful people that tell you, well, you can't go without sugar. Your brain runs on sugar. Your body runs on sugar. They're right, it does. But it runs on glucose, all right? And glucose looks like this. Yeah. Now, what table sugar is sucrose. All right, and that takes fructose, which is naturally occurring in most plants, you know, vegetables, fruits, that sort of thing, in low doses and with fiber and minerals and vitamins and all the stuff that we need. So when we deal with a little bit of this, it's okay. But when you drink a soda and you have 39 teaspoons of this, that's not so good. So what we've got, sucrose is fructose and glucose put together, makes it taste very nice and sweet. However, half of this is stuff that we don't need, and the other half can be produced in our own bodies using the building blocks of amino acids and all that sort of thing. And again, we'll get into some more of that as we get into biochemistry. However, we don't need this at all. This serves no metabolic function whatsoever and is 100% broken down in your liver, as opposed to regular carbohydrates, which are only 20% broken down in your liver, or alcohol, which is 90% broken down in your liver. So this is really bad. And the process that breaks this down not only taxes your liver, gives you insulin resistance, which causes all sorts of metabolic issues, but it also creates fat. And not just fat like all over the place here. It creates fat in your liver, which can cause liver disease and cirrhosis of the liver. I'm sure many of you have heard of that in relationship to alcohol, but sugar can do the same thing. It also creates visceral fat, which is that fat you get around your middle. You know, the infamous beer belly. However, that isn't just some sort of, you know, cute thing. That is fat that is around your organs and restricts them and makes it harder for them to do their job. So if you've got a big middle and the rest of you looks okay, that is still very dangerous and is something that needs to be addressed. Now, the sugar that that comes in the bag here, this is made with sugar cane. Although there's also sugar beets used to process sugar. And if you've seen the process to make this stuff, you probably wouldn't be as enamored with it. I'll link to a video down there below in the comment, or in the description, that shows the process of going from sugar cane to bleached white sugar. And during most of the process, honestly, it looks like dirty water. And I don't know that, you know, the processing machines that they use for this, I'm sure they're sterilized. It's just in this video, it doesn't look like it. And yeah, so after I watched how sugar is made, I honestly am not, you know, as wanting it as I used to. I'm not going to go out of my way for sugar anytime in the near future. I mean, they use lye in part of the process. They use bleach. They literally bleach the stuff to make it nice and crystalline white. Yeah, it's just not that great. All right, so let's see, where are we going to go from here? So it's refined from sugar beets and sugar cane, and if you actually ate the original items that refined sugar comes from, if you sucked on a piece of sugar cane or you ate some sugar beets, it honestly would not be that bad for you. They have a high fructose and glucose content, but I mean, we're only talking like in the, you know, single digits or maybe low teens of a percentage. The rest of it is all fiber and, you know, minerals and nutrients, and that all that stuff is stripped away, and they even squeeze out the last of the nutrients in the form of molasses towards the end of the process. So by the time you get this white sugar in a bag, and you can look on the side of any bag of sugar, it has absolutely zero nutritional content. None. There's nothing here other than calories and chemicals. And by chemicals, I don't mean added chemicals. I mean the chemical composition of it that will mess you up. It will mess up your liver. It will mess up your pancreas down here. It's bad news. So it's a really complex process, and like I say, I'll have a video below. I'm not going to go step by step. So what does it do to you? All right, well, the first thing it's going to do is elevate your blood sugar levels. Naturally, you eat sugar, it's, you know, it has to go somewhere. Well, your blood sugar, a normal blood sugar level in the average person is 5 teaspoons of sugar. Honest to goodness. Through your whole body, you need, you know, floating around 5 teaspoons of sugar. So if you have a soda, it's going to dump that 39 teaspoons of sugar into your system, and your pancreas down here, it's got beta cells in it, and it's going to say, oh my goodness, set off the alarm bells, because we suddenly have a whole bunch of sugar, and it's going to produce insulin. It's going to dump it in there wholesale into your bloodstream to try to bring those sugar levels down. Well, when it does that, it, you know, I mean, one occurrence is not going to cause you to be diabetic, and is not going to cause you to have any long-term health effects. It's not even going to cause you to gain weight, you know, not significantly. However, if you're like me and you've been doing this for 40 years, then you end up with something that's called insulin resistance, because the beta cells in your pancreas that have been trying to keep your sugar levels normal so it doesn't fry your brain and it doesn't damage your organs and all the other bad stuff that goes along with high blood sugar will tend to wear out, and the insulin receptors around your body, and particularly in your liver, tend to become desensitized. So you need higher and higher levels of insulin to bring down the blood sugar levels and the other metabolic effects. Also, high insulin levels, and again, this is a topic we'll talk about in the future, but just a quick overview, you cannot lose weight if you have high insulin levels. So if you've been trying to lose weight on whatever diet and you still have high insulin levels, this will be the reason you're not losing weight, because that hormone will prevent you from burning any fat. And you need to get your insulin levels down before you can lose weight. I don't know if I mentioned this last show or not, but you need, what we've always been told is you need to lose weight to be healthy. That is not the case. You actually need to be healthy to lose weight. And it's all because of hormones and biochemistry, and sugar interferes with all of that. So let's see. So we've got the insulin spike. It can possibly lead to insulin resistance. You have your fatty liver disease. You have visceral fat, all caused by sugar interacting with your body. And also the extra weight, again, we're talking long-term sugar addiction or long-term sugar use, is the reason why we can put on all this extra weight, because of how that sugar is processed in the liver and what happens to it and how it's converted. Normally, glucose and that will be converted, and regular carbohydrates will be converted into glycogen, which is what powers our bodies between meals. It's what allows us to sleep without having to get up every 2 hours and have something to eat. That's a good thing. However, sugar messes up that process and ends up turning into free floaty fatty acids that float around and get taken into your fat cells. It's really amazing how disruptive a molecule this is. The sugar molecule ends up messing up so many different body systems, and honestly, until recently, no one has been talking about it. And that's, again, one of the reasons I started this show, was because it needs to be talked about. We need to stop just letting this go, because it's caused an epidemic in our country, and there's just a whole bunch of unhappy, unhealthy people out there that don't understand why, because they've done everything that they've told us to. We're eating low fat, we're exercising, we're staying away from this or that particular food group or whatever, and the whole time it's been sugar. So I need to kind of wrap this up. So what's been happening with me? After 2.5 weeks of being sugar-free, of being clean, I got my results back from several tests that I took at the doctor's office, and I have gone from being pre-diabetic to a normal range in insulin levels and in blood sugar levels, along with my cholesterol and everything. All of my labs came back perfectly normal, which is stunning, because at the time I took those tests, I had only been off of sugar and restricting my my flour intake for 2.5 weeks. So if that can happen for me, that can happen for a lot of you too. If you are having issues with blood sugar and insulin, this may be the way to go. It's something to look at anyway. And we're going to be learning more about this as we move forward. I'm happy with my weight loss. It's not a central issue. It is a side issue. But in the last 3 weeks, I've lost 22 pounds and 2 belt notches. So I'm happy with that. And I have, while I still might be tempted by sweets that are in front of me, I mean, like literally in front of me. Yeah, there was 3 quarts worth of ice cream left over from before I started my lifestyle change, and I'm glad that the girls finally got it out of here this week, because that double chocolate was looking really good. But I am not compelled to go out somewhere. I don't have cravings to the point where I want to go to the grocery store and get something, or that I want to order brownies from someplace online. So it's getting better. It's a long road, and I know I've got a long way to go. But we're going to go through every step of this together, and I will see you next week. I'm hoping to get all of my technical issues worked out. Until then, please learn as much as you can. That's what I'm doing. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I'm certainly not a nutritionist, but I'm learning. I am trying to find every source of information I can. I'll give you what I can here. Take that, go forward with it, learn on your own. Have a great week. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.